As you are getting ready to apply for the Diversity Visa Lottery, one among the most important things to know is what are the documents do you need to have in order to complete your application? What are the things required to have successful application? The reason I'm going to answer this one is to make sure that you are well prepared when the application comes. You don't need to go to apply, and during the application, you want to stop to go to find the document because you didn't know if that document is required. And I know a lot of people who are going ahead either by not knowing or knowing without knowing knowing that is not allowed, but they do not know the repercussions. And some people, sometimes because someone is lying to them, they do not know, and is going to cause you trouble, either not winning or winning and be denied the visa. So I don't want to be the victim of either of the two, either to win and be denied the visa because you failed to provide these documents at the time of application, or not even being part of the filter at all, being among the going to the second stage of the randomly selection process. Welcome everyone, this is EBM Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and today we are back into the continuation of the information lesson, advice, updates on the Diversity Visa Lottery as we are getting ready to apply. Let's do two things. Number one, subscribe to this particular YouTube channel if you haven't done so. And secondly, remember to share this video and many other videos from my YouTube channel to your friends and colleagues in your social network. There are three things here you have to know. There is application for the Diversity Visa Lottery. There are documents or there are items which are required to apply for the Diversity Visa Lottery. Then there are documents which you need to have when you win the Diversity Visa Lottery. The documents where the Kentucky Consular Center, KCC, will request. And then there are documents which you need to have when you win the Diversity Visa Lottery and the day you are appearing to the visa interview. So some of these documents might be related, some might not. But this video is not going to talk about the interview or the documents on the KCC, but I'm focusing now on the application process. So when you want to apply, there are few documents you need to have. This number one document, it is a must. The keyword is a must. Instruction number 7 is the new instruction which has been recently introduced. This is the third time we are going to use. It is the passport requirement. So if the passport is required, it means you must have the passport. I'm insisting, it is a document you must have. Without this document, please don't apply. Why am I saying that way? Because this is a number one filter. You might say whatever you want to say that you don't have the passport, but you'll be denied the visa. So you must have the valid passport. People are asking question, what if my passport is going to expire next month? What if my passport is going to expire in January? Don't worry about the future. Make sure your passport is valid on the day of application. If you are going, let's say you are going to apply on October 10 or October 11 or November 1st, the day you are applying, if that passport is valid, even if it's going to expire the next day, but the day you are applying, that passport is valid, is not expired, you are allowed to use it. You are allowed to apply using that passport. And if the passport expires, there is no problem. If you win, you will go and get the new passport. And when they request the documents, you will send the passport which was used to apply, which is the old expired passport, and you will send the newer passport. The same applies when you go to the visa interview. You will go with the passport which you used to apply and the passport which is the brand new they will use to put the stamp. There are only 3 exceptions you can apply without a passport, and the majority of you don't qualify. Number 1, you must be a stateless, which majority of you are not. Number 2, you must either be coming from a communist country and you cannot be able to get the passport. Not you cannot get the passport just because of the pandemic. That doesn't count. Not to get the passport just because you don't have the money. That doesn't count. Or your government is slow. That doesn't count. They say you must be coming from a communist-controlled country and you are unable to get the passport. But I'm not going to be the expert, but I can just say definitely, in my point of view, that if you are coming from Afghanistan, for instance, with the current situation going on in Afghanistan, if you apply without a passport, they will consider Taliban administration or leadership as a communist, though it's not communist, because you cannot be able to get the passport because of the material conditions which are there, and the US government is part or involved into the situation. So that is the exception. You can say, I'm coming from a communist country and I'm unable to get the passport, because we know for sure if you go to get the passport from the Taliban administration that I'm going to America, obviously that will not be able to go well with you. You might be in so much trouble by trying to go to the West during this particular time. And the other exception is if you are having the waiver letter from the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security. And if you have the waiver, automatically you're already in the US, because that waiver you were given if you're already in the United States. How did you come here? Remember, if you are a refugee, the passport from the United Nations, refugee passport, is allowed to apply for the diversity visa lotto. So the number 1 document which you have to be careful, it must be valid. Valid means it is at the time you will be able to use. Let me give you an example. The people in East Africa changed the passport from whatever passport they had, each country, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, whatever, they had one old passport, each country had their different one. They say they brought the common East African electronic passport. For that particular case, the old passport, if you cannot be able to use, because each country, they put different deadline to use that passport. So it means if you are using that passport, and the deadline has passed in your country, that passport is invalid even if it hasn't been expired. Your passport can be saying expiration maybe 2026, but because your country or East African countries already ceased to use that passport, it means that passport is no longer valid. It's just like the money. When the country changes the money, it is invalid. The amount you have, there is a deadline. So remember, when you say valid, it is the passport you can use to travel. If you don't have the passport book like this one, go and get the passport, which we say temporary passport, which is a piece of paper. Make sure you have that one. That is document number 1. Document number 2 is the diversity visa photo. You must have the photo. And don't ask me the question, because this is the question they're asking me. So if I'm the main applicant and I'm going to apply, do I need to have the photo for my spouse? Do I need to have the same similar photo with the same or similar requirement for my children? I have 4 children, they don't live with me. The US government doesn't care whether you live with the children or you don't live with the children. As long as you are children, you must use the photo which are supposed to meet the requirements. So that is something you must have in order to apply. So make sure that you have the passport photo. During the application, the following documents, the following items are not asked, you are not required to produce them. You are not supposed to produce or to attach any documentation about your education. They don't require your transcript. It's not required. They don't, on the application you need to tick because there are options: primary, high school with a diploma, without a diploma, there is vocation, there is bachelor degree, whatever, there is education. You just tick the level of education. You don't need, there is no place to attach any type of document about education. They are not requesting a documentation about work experience, either to mention the number of years or show the proof. They are not requiring any proof. So don't start going to your supervisor or to your employer to ask for the proof of employment. They don't need at that particular time. At this particular time of the application, you are not required to submit police clearance because you haven't won yet. At this particular time, you are not supposed to produce medical. You are not a winner yet. You don't have the scheduled interview yet. So, don't start getting frustrated. Go ahead. What you need is a passport, a valid passport, whether it will be a passport book, or you need to have a temporary passport, which is a piece of paper, usually expires after 6 months or 1 year, depending on the regulations of your country. You need to have that one, and the diversity visa photo, a passport photo. With a wet background, I have a video explaining all the details about the passport and all requirement of the passport and the passport photo. So make sure that those are the two things you need to have. So if your family, you live in another city, you live in another country, your children are in school, find a way to get the photos. Don't do a mistake. Oh, because I know there are some people, you go to apply to the cyber or internet cafe, the person telling you, oh, just apply as without children, then you add them when you win. They are lying to you. Go and read instruction number 14 and instruction number 15 about the number of children and the marital status. If you don't have the photo of your spouse, get it right now, because if you apply and you are really married, you'll be in trouble. If you have children and they say you don't have children just because you don't have the photos, you'll be in so much trouble, you'll be denied the visa. So don't apply without your children, unless otherwise the children are born after applying. You apply today and the children are born tomorrow. There is no problem. You apply today and you get married next month. There is no problem. But on the day of application, you must put the current status you have. When I say the current status, if you are currently a university student, you say some university courses. Don't say you have bachelor degree, you don't have undergraduate degree yet. So those are the few things I want to make sure that you know. The documents which are required. So when you go to apply, don't start, let me fill the form, let me go to find my passport. You need to know to arrange your names. How do you arrange your names? Which one is the first name? Which one is the middle name? Which one is the last name? Do you have 2 first names, or do you have 2 middle names, or do you have 2 or 3 last names? You need to figure out all those, not at the time of applying. Then you are going to start figuring out, you are wasting your time. You need to figure out everything before you start the application. So thank you once again. Remember to subscribe, remember to share the video to others. Make sure that your friends, your people in your country, don't be applicant who are making the mistake. Share the good word so that they can be relieved. They can be able to know the reality and how you can be able to apply. Thank you so much again. This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM, from Missouri, United States of America, and all the best in the diversity visa lottery application.